What's up, guys? My name is Will Blesh. I'm the co-owner of Omega Cash Flow Solutions and the creator of the Omega Cash Flow System, which is designed to help independent restaurant owners increase the numbers of new customers coming through their doors, increase the number of times people come back to their establishments, and then increase their average check sizes, all of which significantly increases revenue in just 60 days or less. In this video, we're going to go over what restaurant consulting is and why it matters. If you've ever thought that, man, it sure would be great to get some help, well, this video is for you. Before we get to that, though, I just want to invite you to subscribe to this video channel if you want weekly restaurant marketing tips and tricks and ideas about how to consistently increase revenue and grow your business. Hit the subscribe button right now. And then be sure to click the little bell that shows up when you do so that you'll be sure to receive a notification whenever we put up a new video. Now, where was I? Restaurant consulting. All right, what do you think of when you hear that term? A mixed bag of services that covers a broad range of restaurant operations, finances, systems, and more, most likely. And that's a potential problem, right? Because you don't know which ones you need. All you know is that you're not making the income you know you want to make. Your revenue is not where it needs to be in order for you to realize the vision you have of your business's future. Because you don't have the revenue, you don't feel you've got access to resources. Because you don't have resources, you can't expand. You can't grow. You're stuck. And that's frustrating as all get out. And I'm sure you'll agree with that. Now, there's a story about this very thing, okay? But before we get to that, you should understand that it doesn't have to be that way. My company, Omega Cash Flow Solutions, teaches cutting-edge techniques that outperform 99% of the strategies and tactics used by your competition. And that's incredibly important since FSR magazine points out, okay, competition in the restaurant industry is at a recent high. The point here is that the frustration many restaurant owners feel, it's really understandable. Imagine being like Robert Maxwell. He was a former restaurant owner from Toronto, Canada. And there was an article in Toronto Life where this guy talks about how opening a restaurant almost ruined his life, actually. In fact, he wrote that I was a foodie with a boring day job who figured he could run a restaurant. And then, I encountered rats, endless red tape, crippling costs, and debt-induced meltdowns. I started popping sleeping pills, I lost my house, and I nearly sabotaged my marriage. Now, Mr. Maxwell may or may not have even considered his need for restaurant consulting. The problem is that even if he had, he would have likely come across a restaurant consulting firm that follows a paradigm that just isn't as effective as it once was. Consider this. When it comes to restaurant consulting, maybe you have this idea in your head of a person in a button-up shirt with a stiff collar, a middle management type, and maybe in order to engage a restaurant consulting firm, you have to physically fly out a consultant to your location. And then that person has to spend weeks observing your operations and staff behavior, and then they bill you for travel, accommodations, etc. Now, the methodology many of these restaurant business consultants employ is broken, okay? It's old. It's a paradigm that worked back in the 90s and the early 2000s, perhaps, but it's not lean. It's not streamlined. It's not meant to work hard and fast, potentially bringing results in as short a time as humanly possible. As noted above, the old methodology is just not as effective as it could be, and the cost to you is higher than it has to be. It's an open secret that instead of a flat fee, just for example, you'll have these restaurant consultants watching your place for weeks, and they're charging by the hour. Now, say you have a professional working with you to fix one or another major problem areas, such as staffing issues or turnaround, operational issues, cash flow problems, business growth problems, and say that individual, he's billing you or she's billing you at $250 per hour. And then say that person spends half a day working with you every day for a month. Some of the time actually observing operations, and then the rest analyzing, etc. from an office somewhere. All in all, say they're working with you 20 hours a week for a month. That's going to come out to a total of $20,000 per month that you're paying for restaurant consulting. If you're a restaurant that's been struggling financially, or even if you've been breaking even for a while, but you're not really in a place of profit, shelling out $20,000 a month for help may not be viable for even 1 month, let alone sustainable for a lengthy time. And sometimes certain issues just cannot be fixed overnight, right? Let's be real. Thus, the responsible restaurant owner has to take into consideration whether or not he or she can muster the resources necessary to retain a firm, that charges by the hour and that may drag things out for months and months. So if that's the old way, what's the new way? First, let's back up just a little bit and ask ourselves the question, what is restaurant consulting in 2020? Okay, here's a definition. If you have ever wondered what restaurant consulting is, it's the process of providing expert advice on running and managing a restaurant in the most efficient and profitable manner possible. In 2020, that means understanding strategies and tactics that are emerging, that are innovative, that your grandfather never even heard about. It means understanding all the old stuff without neglecting tried and true methods, and yet at the very same time being open to change and disruptive practices and technologies. And here's a hint when it comes to being lean, disruptive, and uber efficient. In 2020, exclusive restaurant consulting programs such as the Omega Cashflow and Business Growth System provide effective solutions for the major financial and business growth problems that restaurant owners face, even if they've been struggling for years. And here's why that matters. The truth is, the majority of entrepreneurs who open a restaurant fail. In fact, a study, and I know that it's been cited a multitude of times, but I'm going to cite it again, from Ohio State University, revealed that up to 60% fail in their first year. Simply looking pretty is not going to save you. Food costs and employee wages are some of the biggest risks. Year on year, these costs continue to rise. Extreme competition lowers menu prices, and then price wars ensue. And then you have inexperienced restaurant owners. And they have, they've got a great zeal and enthusiasm, but a lot of them have very little business or marketing experience. Sometimes the owners of these businesses are absolutely horrible when it comes to management. They don't understand people. Their staff turnover is appalling. And maybe the owner has never even worked in a restaurant in his or her life and has little to no understanding of the challenges those who serve others on a daily basis or those who craft tantalizing food in the kitchen actually face. Maybe they bought the restaurant as is because they thought it would be a cool investment, something they could brag about at a cocktail party. Or maybe they inherited the restaurant. You never know. In any case, this type of owner never walked a mile in the shoes of the common restaurant employee, and then they're surprised by the management issues that crop up. Another area that a lot of newer restaurant owners fail in is properly keeping their books. Their reports have errors, but they don't know where. Their accounting is faulty. And then there's things many would consider basic, but they get overlooked by some. The food quality or service quality is lacking, and perhaps the restaurant owner does or does not understand why. And for all of these reasons that I just listed, restaurant consultants exist. Okay, restaurant consulting is incredibly important when you consider the fact that the value of the restaurant industry this past year in 2019 was $863 billion, according to the National Restaurant Association. And you, well, I bet you want a healthy slice of that pie, right? So in our next video, we're going to be doing an overview of restaurant consulting in general. You should see a poll on this video that I hope you'll participate in. And finally, if you liked this video, if you felt it had worth, please share it, like the video, and leave me a comment to let me know what you did or did not like or agree with. It'll be great to have a conversation with you. Until next time, I'm Will Blesh with the Omega Cashflow System.